And here, are we good or not?
Yes, we're live.
Okay, thank you. All right, so welcome to the Recreation Commission meeting for October 13th, 2020. First, I have to we'll call the meeting to order. Our next item is consideration of minutes from previous meetings. So Peter had sent us those today. Did everybody have a chance to take those? I don't know if it's me. Peter, are you going smaller and smaller in the font, or am I just getting old?
I may have. Just kind of keep on your toes, Andy. You passed.
All right. Oh, Mr. Burns has joined us too. Excellent.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just got a new laptop. I had to go back on.
No problem. So we're just reviewing, we're talking about the meeting minutes that Peter sent out. So I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from September, what was it, 22nd?
I second.
So we have a motion and a second from Mr. Ruggles. Any discussion? Okay, so we'll do a roll call. Mr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Aye. Chris?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Colleen?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
And I'll also concur, so that carries 600. The meeting minutes are approved. All right. Facility and field request, Red Cross. And now Steve was working with them, right?
Sorry, yeah. I had responded to the initial email and then Steve met them on site. They sent out a formal request, and then the date changed. He wanted to see if he could get approval for a bunch of different dates because he wasn't sure exactly when it would be. I mean, are we still leaning? I mean, is that can we have people in talent to do such an event, or is it still closed down, or what's the?
I mean, yeah, right now we don't have it open. I mean, the Red Cross would be something that's a little different because they would obviously have COVID protocols and that I don't think would be an issue, but maybe we should. I don't know, Steve. What would the Board of Selectmen think on something like that? Because I mean, it's more than just a rec issue.
I think
it's a town issue.
Yeah, with the Red Cross and the sanitation they'll have and the COVID issues, I don't think there'd be an issue allowing them to use it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good on the town to. I mean, if we can let them use that facility too. Just, I know they're in need of blood, and it would be a good thing to do.
And
You know, even if we needed to get our custodian down to clean it prior to them setting up, we could do that too. I think it's a positive event for the community.
Yeah. Let's see. So the dates right now I have with the 11/18. So they've changed it since then.
Hold on, let me take a look real quick. I have he sent out like 20 different dates, so.
Right. So the last email I saw was the one on October 7th that had the actual the usage request form.
Yeah, it looks like it was pending to December or January. I didn't see a specific date.
Yeah, I mean, I think, if we can vote on it and then I can let them know. I mean, because there's nothing scheduled in there for now, and the way things are going, I don't know that it's going to be opened up anytime soon. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the only thing that would be in there. So. mean, we can do an approval with the date to be determined because there's no conflicts, like you said. So would somebody like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve Red Cross to use Talent Hall for their blood drive, with a date to be determined.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Colleen.
Okay, so Mr. Ruggles
Second.
Makes the motion, and Colleen Gamache was the second. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll call to a vote. So we'll start with Commissioner Ruggles,
Aye.
Mr. Burns,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Colleen,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
and I'll concur with an aye, so it carries 6-0-0. I just realized there's only one Steve tonight, so it's easy. I don't have to go last names. I can go back to first names, except for Andy.
So, I will reach,
Call myself.
I'll reach out to Matt and just let him know that we've approved it with a date to be determined and to try to give us as much lead time as possible so we can get a cleaning crew in.
Okay, sounds good. New business. So there actually any other field requests?
I didn't see any, but one question I did occur to me was with the election coming up in 3 weeks, for the primary, we had town moderator request a hall for ballot counting. I don't know if you've heard anything else about that, but I recall when that request was made that we said, oh yeah, we probably have to do this again ahead of the general election. So I can.
Per our call on Wednesday, he may end up using town hall instead of talent, but he's gonna let us know this week.
Okay, and we'll have another meeting
We
before
thought
that.
there'd be more people coming and more people wanted to monitor the actual opening. Nobody showed, so he can get away with a smaller space. So supposed to make that decision by this week.
Correct. And just another note, we passed over public input, so I just wanted to check the lines to see if there was anybody there.
I did pass over public input, so John, there's nobody on it, correct?
Correct, there is no public online.
So we'll close public input. All right, so any other field requests? All right, so we're on to new business. Update from rec sports groups. We got the email from Mike. He wasn't going to be able to make it tonight, but he did let us know about soccer. And basically his message was soccer is proceeding currently under the guidelines provided by the state organization and the state, as well as its own protocols, which are a bit more precautionary. So we had asked, and I think Andy, you're the one that brought it up with the cases that are popping up at GMS, and like you said, a lot of the news, I think it was hockey, right? Local hockey that seems to be an issue. We just, there's a couple of high schools too that had to shut down, and it turned out to be outside sports that caused the issue. It was nothing that happened on school grounds. So.
Right. I just was, I just putting the feelers out there. I wasn't sure what everybody was doing. I believe is soccer the only one playing right now, or is outdoor basketball playing as well?
No, outdoor basketball's not playing. Is baseball or softball still going?
Baseball's
Softball,
not.
I think baseball's not participating in softball, I think, ends this weekend or next weekend.
Okay. And I know basketball had sent a survey out to the parents, just sort of seeing what their thoughts were, if they were able to offer something and when they were able to offer something, what would be the interest. So I haven't seen the results or heard the results of that. I'm not, especially with I don't know if it's been classified as an outbreak at GMS, but what do they have, like 5 cases now at GMS? I'm sure a lot of the parents are very leery about, doing basketball inside. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah, there's a couple at GMS and there's a couple at LMS.
Yeah. So, and that's their age group. They don't deal with the high school. They're all middle school and elementary school. So, so that's the only, so soccer ends in a couple weeks anyway. So we won't really have any sports going on for a bit, until we can get this thing straightened out, I guess. The next item was benches, and I had been contacted by, where is he here? By Jason Brennan, and they had purchased some benches using funds from the Litchfield beautification funds, and he might have sent it to me by text, and that's great because my phone's about to die. I don't know what it is about Tuesday nights, but my phone doesn't seem to fare well. But basically, they will look. His question was, I guess they're doing the wayfaring sign, or the wayfinding sign, and the request was to do it in granite. Steve, I don't know if you were part of that conversation with Jason.
Yes, I did. Yep.
And I guess they didn't quite have the money in their budget for that, or it would basically put them down to a net zero. So the question was, would we be willing to split the cost of the benches that are going at the playground? If I recall correctly, it was $1,200, so it would split it, do $600 each. So I told them I would bring that up at the meeting, for conversation. So I don't know what you guys think.
I don't believe we ever put the mulch down this year. So, I mean, I think we would have extra in that to do it.
Well, I guess my question is more to Steve. I know there's no discretionary spending at this point on the budget, but would this
From
be
a
something that
budgeting standpoint, we're looking at right now of what can we spend now so it's not impacting next year's budget because we have a tax cap issue. So we're looking, is there something we can do from a spending standpoint that will remove it from next year's budget? So,
Okay.
We're still trying to be cautious with spending, but now that we're getting to the end of the year, if there are things to do, we should be able to go do them.
Okay. All right, so that might be something we want to look at the next meeting too, is see what can we do to impact our next year's budget for the better.
I think there's still some repairs that are needed there too.
So I would like to make a motion to incur $600 of the cost of the benches for the playground to go halves with the Litchfield Beautification Fund.
Second.
And who is that, Steve?
Yes.
Okay, so I made a motion, and Steve has made a second. So any discussion?
Do we still need to make some repairs down there to the glider and the slide, I think?
The glider, I think not Steve Weber, but Steve was going to take a look at that.
Yeah, so Steve did take a look at it, just so you know, and he said that, it's not something you can really fix easily. So we'd probably have to have somebody come in to do it. And at that point, it's like, do we want to keep it or pull it out for something else? Because I don't know how much, if it's worth it or whatever.
Yeah, I think that might be something that we want to talk to the playground committee about, because I think, like you said, what was it, like $1,100 or something to repair it?
I don't know. I can find out.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'd be better off. I don't think, we never got the handicap accessible swings. I'd rather spend the money on something like that, and maybe we can use the existing posts there for that.
Agreed.
Any other discussion on the motion?
So I guess, I'd just be curious about what our balance is in the current budget, because as I recall, we kind of overspent on field maintenance early in the year for the grub issue. And I thought that kind of put us right up against the line, which is one of the reasons why we didn't want to pay a note taker this year and put that in next year's budget. So I guess I would just, I would like to defer one more meeting to see what our balance is, because I thought we were right up against it and didn't have anything left this year.
No, we had room in our budget, but it was, at that point, we had been given the direction to not, to stop any discretionary spending. So basically I think the town at that point wasn't really sure, Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, about revenues and so that's why we sort of put a freeze on what we were spending at that point.
That's correct.
So we do have money in our budget, specifically that line item, because we haven't spent, like I said, the money that we had budgeted for the mulch.
Is there an easy way to get a current balance?
Yeah,
we have available?
I can ask for that and get.
I'm trying to find it right now.
Okay. Because if not, I can get it from Karen tomorrow and send that out.
It's just a long report.
Yeah. While Steve's looking that up, I know originally we had put on the agenda for the bids, but so those actually will be in our next meeting. Let me just see. The bids are due October 23rd. So we'll actually have those. So
Andy, your volume went out.
okay. So
There you are.
so the bids are actually due on Friday, October 23rd. So that's when the opening is going to happen, and then those will get scanned, and then they will be sent to us so we can actually review them over the weekend before we meet the following Tuesday. And that'll be good because, we can look at our budget. We can, if we can award something that night, which is what, the 27th, we can immediately make an adjustment to our budget projected for 2021 based off of that bid.
So it looks like we have a lot of money left. It looks like we've only spent 60% of our budget.
All right, because I know we saved a bunch on the porta potties because we pulled those for a little bit. So there's a bunch of different lines that we sort of saved some money on.
We have all the money from field improvement, which was $5,000. That's the capital. We have money from the equipment purchase line, which $2,500. So it looks like from the budget, if this is accurate, we got 38 grand left. Yeah.
Yeah,
We have a
we'll
lot of
still
money
have a
left.
bunch. We'll still have a bunch coming out for field maintenance, like the regular contract. I think those payments are still
Correct. Yeah.
being made.
So of the field maintenance contract, thus far, we have 23% left on that line item.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple more payments, so that'll probably go down to zero. But
So nonetheless, we will have money left that we could utilize or will be encumbered.
Yeah, and I think that would be a good thing to start looking at, to especially for some of the stuff that we wanted to get done at the playground, mulch, some of the repairs, maybe some of the repairs to talent that we had discussed. You know, we could encumber that this year and then not hit next year's budget with that, maybe reduce next year's budget a little bit. So. All right, so I guess we're still on the motion to incur $600 of the cost of the park benches for the playground. Any other discussion? Okay, so I'll call for a vote. We'll go with Mr. Ruggles,
Aye.
Chris,
Yes.
Peter,
Aye.
Colleen,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
and I'll vote aye as well. So I will I'll let Troy and Jason know, because I think they'll handle that end of it. Okay, let's just go back. All right, any old business? Chris, how about an update on the cameras? Have we been able to see anything from those, or any results?
Yep. So they've been installed now for about 2 weeks. Put one that's viewing the basketball court and one over by the playground area. I have not been back to check them out because I haven't heard of any incidences down there. You do have to go and take the card out of the camera to be able to view the video. It's not an app on a phone or anything like that. It's also and I thought it's safer just to do still images rather than the video. I set it up that way because the video is going to record audio and I didn't want to get in trouble with that.
Yeah.
Having conversations or anything. And it also eats into the storage. So with the current setup and still images, I mean, we're going to get a decent amount of storage on there, battery life. So if anything does happen, we should have a good view of it, or at least somebody in the area.
All right, so is there any way to maybe get some images for our next meeting, just so we can sort of see
Yeah.
what it's like? And that'd
Yeah,
be great.
definitely.
I appreciate you
Yeah,
doing that.
if we need to relocate them too, we can.
Okay.
Andy, what's the status on Dara? I haven't heard anything. Did we ever, was there ever communication that went out?
Communication that went out from us to the town?
Yeah, we had discussed it. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
nothing went out. And I think at this point, it's probably I think we were all worried that there was going to be a big clamoring about, what's going on, which at least I haven't heard any on it. I went by, they seem to be recovering nicely. I haven't walked the fields themselves. This is just from the parking lot. It looks green, which is,
do we know, I see it from, I haven't gone over there as well, except to drive by. Do we know if it's going to be available come next spring for activity?
that is the indication, and that's the belief, yes.
Colleen, I went down and walked it the other day. It's looks awesome. It looks really nice.
Okay, good.
I happened to pull in right behind Steve Gannon. He was going to kick people out, and we walked around, and it looks really good.
And actually, that's, what, that made me just think that's something that I think we should really look at if we have some money in the budget this year. And I'll meet with Kevin Brown. We've got to figure something out to do with the whole gate situation and how we can secure the fields and not have, people parking where they're not supposed to park. And I'll see what we can come up with and bring it up for discussion at the next meeting. I'll try and get it to you guys ahead of time if we can come up with some ideas. All right, so I did see that the emails did come through now from Jake.
Yeah, they were flagged in spam. That's what John just told me.
All right, so he's looking to do outdoors. Beer vendors, I mean, I would say with so is he looking to do this like during the pandemic or is this post-pandemic?
I think it's next spring.
Yeah, I think it said next summer. He said hopefully it's no longer
Okay.
a big issue.
I think he just wants to really get in front and start talking the idea of what he wants to do.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be a good idea, and I think it would be, maybe get a hold of him and have him talk to the new police chief sergeant too, just to sort of, if he wants to do a beer area. I will say that this is different than we're used to because the beer area has always been a BYOB. Vendors is a completely different set of issues because then you're talking liability and the sale of alcohol. So that might be an issue that we would need to talk to our insurance about as well, Steve. Because we've never allowed the sale of alcohol at an event. So, do you know if he's looking at selling the beer, or is this more like a beer sampling type thing, or?
I don't know. He just said that he had sent an email and I told him that I hadn't seen it. And that's when we had the issue going back and forth. So I really didn't have a lot of conversation with him on what his
Okay.
vision was for this event.
So why don't we invite him to our meeting on the 27th? And that way we can get that information and sort of, it's early on, but might as well get it done early on. That way, if there are issues, we can sort of iron them all out before the event. All right. And I think October is my month, so I'll get back to him.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So I see in this email, it looks like there is, which I saw discussion about this in the past, and I didn't know if we ever did anything about it, but the Litchfield and the Fire 5K. So it looks like it's this weekend.
Yeah.
Yes. Is it being held at Sawmill? Anyone know where it's located?
Honestly, I don't know. I know they're going to be using. I don't know if they're going to be using Sawmill for parking. I know they were looking at a different option.
I know
Yeah, they moved it to Saturday, but it's start and finish at Town Hall. I didn't see details about parking on their website.
I'm
I
just
saw
curious.
an
I
update
think it's been a
on
few-
traffic.
What's that?
I saw an update on Facebook. It kind of said what the traffic impact would be on Albuquerque. But I didn't read all the details on it.
My understanding is it starts at Town Hall, goes down to Greenwich, down to the bottom circle, and back to Town Hall.
Sounds okay.
Right.
So I'm just curious because we're the rec commission, and there's been a few road races in town, and obviously they don't come through us, or we don't need to approve anything. But we're the rec commission, and we don't even aware of them, and they're happening in town. So I just find it kind of ironic that we don't promote it. We're not really aware of it. So they're happening. Do they go to the selectmen, Steve? Is that how they're
The
approved?
only one that I knew of was the millennial running one that started at Sawmill. I thought we voted on that to let them use the parking lot. But
Unless I
maybe it went to the emergency management team. I'm not too sure. That was the only one that I knew of in town, and that was a month ago, 6 weeks ago.
And I think there were a couple of them. I thought there were a couple of millennium running ones. So
And
just
some of them
interesting.
might go through the schools too, right? Because don't they usually do one that starts at Campbell?
Well, the schools aren't doing anything, Andy.
Well,
There's no, yeah. So if they do, but I just find it interesting that we don't promote it.
Wasn't there one in Londonderry that looped through part of Litchfield too, not too long ago?
I think there's been a few things, and I just don't know where they're going in town. We could put it on our website. We could promote it, and we're not part of it. Which I don't know who is part of it. If you said there's, I don't know what group you said, Steve. You mentioned when you just emergency something group you just mentioned.
The emergency management team that meets every Wednesday during COVID.
Okay.
It's all the department heads in town.
I don't know. These are the things I would like as opposed to talking about some of the stuff we talk about, I'd love to be part of this stuff, but it doesn't seem like we're doing much in this area of community involvement, like community activities. If there's a community activity, it'd be cool if we were part of it.
I agree, Colleen. It would be nice. Like we're part of the Christmas in Litchfield and a few other things. But yeah, it would be nice if it's a recreational event. It'd be nice to be a part of it and
Or at least promote it.
give
Right,
some
that's-
support. Yeah, in any way we can. I know they did ask us about parking, which was basically we don't grant access for parking is what our conclusion was, but yeah, I agree with you. It'd be nice if we could promote this stuff.
Yeah, I must have missed the parking meeting. I don't recall that one, so that was it.
I mean,
Missed that
Colin,
one.
if you want to try and reach out to these guys and, just maybe we can start building some type of, I don't know, just like a database of the different groups and what they're doing, and maybe come up with a calendar and start trying to organize that and just say,
Yeah,
hey, if you want, not that
This
you
is
need
their
our
first
approval, but we want to make sure that, we want to have one place that people can look and see, hey, this event's happening. I mean, I always thought the same thing with all the stuff around the holidays with the, breakfast with the
Mhm.
Easter Bunny and all those different events. There should be one spot that people can go and see, hey, this is what's happening.
Agreed. Yeah,
And not for nothing, but this year has just been so weird. Like I know this event was originally scheduled for May, I think, and it got rescheduled till now, and everything's just weird this year.
oh, yeah, don't get me wrong. I get that.
All right. Any other business?
Do we need to discuss closing down the tennis courts and the boat launch? We need to come up with a plan and a date for that. Is that just something we can do?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we have to come up with a hard and fast date, but I think we should discuss our plans for it. That's a good idea. As far as the tennis nets and the benches, as long as there's a chance of nice weather out there, I would say we should keep them up as long as we can, just because we're giving people an opportunity to get outside. But I think, maybe, I mean, we can leave it. I know, Chris, was it you and Andy that were going to do it?
Yeah, we put them up in the spring.
If you just keep an eye on the weather and just make sure that we're about, any hint of snow coming, we just need to get that stuff down. So that, because once the snow and ice gets in there, that stuff's not moving.
I'm just looking at like the next 2 weeks, Chris, for weather-wise, and it's 50s and 60s during the day. It's going to be colder at night, but I would say probably let's shoot for the end of the month. November 1st or something. I don't know how many people will be playing tennis when it's 40 degrees out.
Yeah, and that's also daylight savings, so you start
I
losing.
was just going to say that.
You lose a ton of daylight that weekend.
Yeah, so let's shoot for that. I have nothing going on, so I can go any weekend.
And I mean, I think the river access will maybe get Steve Gannon involved in that and their committee, the River Access Committee, and just sort of plan that out. And I mean, because it's not something that we have to close off. It's not, nothing's going to be damaged down there. It's just that we don't want people hanging out down there once it's past the point where people can put kayaks
Isn't
and
there a
stuff
gate
in.
though? Andy, don't we just, isn't there a gate, I thought?
Yes.
So that just gets locked, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't even actually lock. It's just a bungee cord that holds it closed.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for keeping the secret there, Chris. All right. Any other business? All right. Hearing none, I will make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, Colleen seconds. So we'll go through. Andy,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Peter,
Aye.
Colleen,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
and I vote aye. So it carries 600. We will adjourn for the night. Thank you, guys.
Alrighty.
Hi, guys.
Thank you, John.
Good night, everyone. Be well.
Take care, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.